So I actually think there's kind of two components of surveying. So the first side is the field side. Surveying is a very unique trade. So the field side, many of you people driving down the road, you see people looking through what appears to be a tripod taking pictures, but the field surveyors go out, take shots, take measurements of the ground, of the land to help determine. The second side of surveying is kind of the inside, more of the platting side of things, the legal side of things. So on the inside here, our professionals take the measurements and they determine where property lines are. They determine and map the topography of the land, underground utilities and whatnot. So it's a critical component for what we civil engineers do, to understand the lay of the land, to understand where property lines are and how we deal with that in our designs. So yeah, I think the first thing is, our field surveyors, and typically when people enter into the field of surveying, they work out on our field crews to start. So something unique is you get to work outside, you get to be out with nature. There's some good days and bad days with weather, but I think it's definitely a benefit for people that like to work outdoors. The second side, what I always thought was interesting, is the historical component of surveying. We look back at old deeds and old legal descriptions from some of them hundreds of years ago, and understanding people's property rights and how it's evolved throughout time. I just think the connection to history in the past over it can be over centuries sometimes. It's really interesting and unique. Well, first of all, I think is a simple one. In general, there's a huge demand for surveyors in our world today. Huge shortage, general laws of supply and demand. Secondly, I think there's great opportunities. I mean, technology has come a long way in the last 30 years I've been in this industry, as far as the advent of survey equipment. Now we have surveyors, a one-man crew using drones to do surveying, and that's just a launching pad for many cool things to come with technology. So I think a lot of surveyors get the opportunity to work outside. We're going to be using a lot of cool technology in the future, so it's a great opportunity. So I'm actually not a surveyor, for the record, just to be clear, but I'm actually very inspired by surveyors in general. My dad was a surveyor back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I remember him telling me stories of some of the equipment they used back then. It seemed pretty antiquated in comparison to some of today's equipment, but my early years in this industry as a surveying co-op, or as an engineering co-op, I went out on some survey crews and used a lot of the same technology, and this was 30 or so years ago. But in the last 30 years, the technology has tremendously advanced to, we're using 3D scanners now, we're using drones to fly and get topography, and it's only going to advance from there further too. So surveying, it's a critical component of what we do in civil engineering, and I think it dovetails directly into it. Civil engineers, most curriculum require a surveying class for a reason. So the future is bright for surveyors, and it dovetails nicely into what we do as civil engineers.